We simply can't leave till we get some more wood. It depends on what he says next, Plaws. It depends on what he says next. Hey, ooh, help. Hey, sis, what's up? What's going on? Oh, God. Thanks for the glizzies, Saru. Thanks for the plink sploosh wood, Lirio and Sylph. I know you didn't play Turok. Probably can't hear me over the awesome. Turn that down just a little. But not because I want to. But not because I want to. You're tilting yourself. Why do I have to play CPR? Why do I have to aim the dolphin? Can't this be a cutscene? Oh! Oh! No, that's just you this time, Saru. Hey, guys. Was I muted? I was getting the bouncy meter on my end. But you did make me... Okay. Okay. Sometimes when you're in studio mode in OBS, I should have known because it says global. He did make me look, though. You got me, monkey. Some of the audio sources are not global, and if you don't hit the transition button in studio mode, you can see that they're on in the preview and think that they're on. Unfortunately, VTubers have changed what playing CPR means to me. Yep, made me look. You got me. You got me. The fair and square. As soon as I saw that that source said global, I should have known. But yeah, Turok is not optional. The way that conversation was flowing, I thought that was a response to I didn't play Turok. So it's like, I didn't play Turok. Oh, then why do I have to play CPR? Why do I have to aim the dolphin? And at this point, I'm very confused. Can't this be a cutscene? I thought it was just like crashing out. And I think I like that reality better. But yeah, that was the most... The dolphin thing was so stupid. Pretty sure they fixed that in the remake, because I don't remember the dolphin thing in the remake. They do not even hint that you're doing the CPR correctly. You just fucking guess. Calling the nuke gun the dolphin. I didn't even know you could one... Oh, I meant the CPR. I knew you could one-shot the dolphin. My first playthrough through FF7, I swear to God, I was at the CPR part for like 10 whole minutes. Which doesn't sound very long. But it is. That is stupid long. To be at that kind of a thing. I thought they were building me up to that kid just dying. Yeah, I know. That's what I thought. I thought they were building me up to that kid just dying, and then she wakes up, and it's like... I was just failing at the minigame. You know what else really sucks is the marching in formation minigame. Actually, all of the positional minigames in that game suck. Because you do not have enough control of your character to get that correct. You just don't. She had no brain damage whatsoever. Yeah, she was just fine. We didn't even know how long she had been there. If I remember that cutscene correctly. She's already face down in the water when we get there. I've gotten the best prize, too. I know how to do it. It is just actually hard to pull off. Yeah, canonically, you have no idea how long she's been in that water. You just get the "someone save my baby," and you get there, and she's face down in the water. No idea how long. You pull her out. CPR for 10. I thought they were going to kill her. I thought she was dead. I thought they were going to do the heartstrings thing. They didn't really learn how to do that until Final Fantasy XIV, apparently. To consistently do it, you have to run in, bump the first row, bump the second row, run in front of the third row to get in to consistently get it. Yeah. Also, your initial rating is RNG? Your initial rating is RNG? Cyan after Ghost Train gets me? You are a woman. You could just start at 10% ratings and GG. I did not know that. That explains some shit, actually. Also, the timing of the button presses for the armed exhibition is wrong. You're supposed to get preparatory and then execution. And you don't. It's just wrong. It's rude. Also, hi Noodle, oh my god! Exclamation mark fish. Also, you do not rehearse the routine you're actually doing. I cannot be the only person that finds that objectionable. I guess we're starting... Oh, nice streak, guys. 45 for both Plaws and Saru. That's some huge streaks in chat. How much shit did you have to save up to streak that far? It is unlawful. It is unlawful. Oh yeah, but yeah, I guess we're starting with the system autism. It was the second thing in my list of topics today, but I guess it's number 1. 23 is number 1. You were already revved up. Fair enough. Hey, thanks for the sub, Kaviri. Appreciate it. You too can now just listen to me talk to my sister like she's a regular chatter for however long this lasts. You need to come over here, Sylph. We need to get this out of our system. It's been too long. Sid's hints for disabling the rocket are terrible, especially when some button inputs can be twice. Oh yeah, everything about your first playthrough is, what the fuck? What the fuck? Everything in the first playthrough when you find out, oh, actually you do it this way. It's like, that's literally unfair. It's like blind drops in Mega Man. It's like blind drops in Mega Man. Are there spikes down this one or a power-up? Do I go left or do I go right? I don't know. I've never done this level before, but if I go left before I can see what's going on, or rather, if I don't go left before I can see what's going on, the lasers get me. And if I go too far right, right after that, the spikes get me. But if I go left after that, the lasers still blur me. So I've got to go in the middle, and I've got to do that the first time on a blind drop. It's even worse in Mega Man Zero, because in, like, OG Mega Man, the screen has to scroll, so you get a little bit. You get, like, a tiny amount of time to be like, oh, that's where I gotta go. But Mega Man Zero, no, they do blind drops in Mega Man X and Mega Man Zero. And they're just not fair. It's like, no, we want you to memorize this. That's what the message is. You are going to memorize this. You have to dig Site 0 if you miss it via huge materia? Oh my god. I hate the dig site. I hate the dig site. It's another one of those... Oh yeah, it's what Lirio was saying earlier, but I didn't comment on. I was like, oh yeah, you mean positional suck in fixed perspective games? Yeah, making me have to remember what the angles are off screen in an isometric RPG is an absolute ass mechanic. Fuck you. They're predetermined spots too. Like, it's not literally every spot in the dig site can be a spot. You just have to memorize what the real spots are. And then use where they're facing to kind of figure out which one of the predetermined spots it is. I had to dig site 0 when my brain didn't work, on my kid playthrough, because I did not get Sid's code right, and at that point in my life, I didn't see the value in resetting on those types of things. Yeah, because resetting is like, an entire 15 seconds, plus the time spent playing. And you can't get that back, not like the hours of playthrough you've already done that fucks up. Because kid logic. I need to go fast. I think what that was, Sylph, was an early primordial aversion to save scumming. I think that's what that was. You're curious about what? Oh, you're gonna try something? Did I leave seagull mode on? Because that's totally an option. We'll see what the monkey's up to. But anyway, yeah, I went to the CJIS annual symposium. Hosted by the FDLE. Because there are CSA. And if you don't know what that means, that's fine. Learned a lot. There were some interesting things about the convention and the convention's setup itself. That I thought was pretty interesting. And we'll kind of start with the security layout. Because of all the stories of, like, VTuber conventions not having security, I wouldn't say it was, like, a very high security area, but the number of visible police officers / sheriff, it was actually all sheriff, come to think of it. It was all sheriff. Just visibly out there, it was a lot. And then you have to consider, like, how many of the other people were carrying, because that convention is just, like, 80% law enforcement and their support staff. So even though the rule at that hotel is, like, you can't have weapons with you, I bet at least half of the attendees had them. I just don't like the physical layout of a lot of convention centers, and the physical layout of that one was also kind of not great. But it is what it is. Obviously more secure than, like, there were no mall cops at this convention. For those of you who don't know what CJIS is, it stands for Criminal Justice Information Systems. So the FDLE was there. Various law enforcement officers from all over the state were there, from, like, all 67 counties. The FBI was there. That place was glowing. Oh, shit! You did start a hype train. I hope your curiosity has been sated. You also put GIFs over my dumb face, which you would probably find preferable. I appreciate that, Saru. Oh, there's a sub-goal. I didn't even set that one. Jesus Christ, stop. Thank you, Saru. There are a lot of alerts I have to turn off now. You gifted everyone in chat, I think. Probably. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that a lot. Who caught the great white shark? Oh, the new Twitch option, yeah. Pretty cringe. I never set it up. I forgot it was a thing. Ha, you dodged. Looks like my RNG got stuck, just like in FF7. We call that dodging a gift sub, Sylph. If you dodged that one, I'm pretty sure it was because you're not eligible for some reason. Pretty sure Saru clicked the button. Like getting 12 male green chocobos in a row? Is that even odds? You get goals automatically after getting affiliate? Yeah, I know, but I forgot about that. And I forgot it was like this obnoxious thing that was going to happen in the center of my screen. Which I don't mind obnoxious things in the center of my screen. I'm in the center of my screen, but I like to choose what the obnoxious things are. I just forgot to turn them off, that's all. Sniped! Fucking sniped. Deadass in FF7, your RNG can get stuck and you have to do things to reset it. Because resetting on its own doesn't unstuck your RNG. Yeah, not every RNG mechanism advances the same way, and early ones suck. That's why you can RNG manipulate early Pokemon so well. Now, I was talking about glowies. God damn it, Nero! I'm getting oiled, chat. I appreciate that, buddy. We're taking over the stream with alerts now. We're taking over streams with alerts. Are you calling out my lurkers? Man, keep abusing his overlay. I have a convenient button that can just pause alerts if I feel like it's getting to be a bit much. But, I deserve to be called out for that. For having the default stuff. No! There you go. I like that one. I like sploosh. Nero hates me and left me ungifted. I like to curate the annoying things that go on in the center of my screen. Bless. Bless. Exclamation mark fish in chat to play the fishing minigame, by the way. Lines ultimatum. Nice. Nice. Look at all the Mog, the Moogle emotes. Is that Mog or just a Moogle? Stilf, is that a Moogle or what? I mean, is that Mog or just a Moogle? Anyway, we were glowing. We were glowing pretty hard. Fuck, I got distracted by all the gifties. See, this is how streaming is. I deserve it, honestly. I have done that to so many streamers. I have just been like, hey, they're in the middle of talking about something, and I'm even enjoying listening to it. Let's break their brain a bit with a few subs. Ah! I shook the camera. There's a streamer-induced earthquake. There's a streamer-induced earthquake. Brr, 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 brr. Everybody get outdoors. He's a 6 streamer exclusively. Based on the streamer I got, it's Mog. Okay. I'm reading that backwards. Exclamation mark, fuck. He summoned Titan. He can only do it once, because no shot he leveled that materia. True. Of all the summons you're not going to level, Titan is one of those. He's so fucking useless. Why are you even using that summon? That must be part of the speedrun strat. I just do not bother casting most of my summons in FF7. Anyway, convention security. Streamer conventions. Glowing in the dark. Fuck. So, you don't even get him in a speedrun? Good. Oh, I guess the gift viewers option only shows up when streamer is online. But I've been online! Or were you talking about someone else? What are you up to, monkey? And I just wanted to see if it would gift myself. I see. Yeah, I think one of the biggest flexes is just like dropping a 5 or 10 subs in a channel you're not even subbed to. Oh, I tried to do that with the lid on. I swear I haven't had any alcohol today. Oh, on that note, since my sister is in here, it's time to get some personal accountability. Meals were terrible on the road. Yeah. The button could get dangerous in a big streamer chat. That button is designed to be dangerous. That button's designed to be dangerous. So yeah, anyway, the CIO of a vendor company took me and my boss, because my boss is buddies with him, took me, my boss, and some other folks to a Brazilian steakhouse in Orlando. It was called like Divina Carne or something. On the road. You were only in another part of the state. Well, yeah, but it was like 5 hours away? I mean, if you're going to go off the rails. Oh, man. I stopped them pretty early. I was like, nope, I am not eating like it's a family gathering. You know what I mean? I'm not eating that way. I know you're on the other side of the country. But yeah, you see a lot more road than I do. But there's also a lot of people who would consider driving that long one way to be onerous. My back thought it was onerous, that's for fucking sure. A long dick of a state. Yeah, we're free balling down here. The brisket was amazing. The brisket was amazing. I have never had brisket that tender, and I've gone to San Antonio. I've gone to other parts of Texas. I have had genuine Texas barbecue from the places people like wait in line in the hot sun to get. And at some level, it's all dry. Like, not all the way through. I need to show you how to stretch the muscle that sits on the sciatic nerve, like, legit. Yeah, probably. I probably even already know the movement and don't do it regularly. We can do something else on your back. Hey, this chatter gets it. The monkey man gets it. I probably already know that exercise and I'm just not doing it, which probably pisses you off even more, and it kind of should. But, geez, it's not like the hotel room had a kitchen. Like, we weren't being put up in a room that fancy. Like, we didn't have a condo. So it was just all road food. And people kept paying for my meals. So, like, really, what are you supposed to do there? The vendor wheels were trying to grease. Or the vendors were trying to grease the wheels. And vice versa. Oh, thank you, sweetie. Which, that's just normal convention shit. I don't know how many of you... Well, I know at least a few of you have been to those type of conventions where vendors are allowed to be. Boo! Dude, like, a lot of y'all that go to, like, hobby conventions, I get it. You want vendors. You want people to buy from who are in the hobby. I understand. But when you're at, like, a corporate or professional conference, all that is a room full of cold calls. You were just at an anime con in Orlando? Probably the same hotel, even, if I had to lay a wager. It was the Hilton on International Drive. Which I didn't get to stay at because the rooms were sold out 2.5 months before the event. For the glowy event. For the glowy event. Like, I could get that for, like, other things. But this was to, like... This is a working event. You don't go unless you have to. And I have to. Depending on the year, that is. I probably will not be going next year. But the company paid this year, so I'll be getting a check for some odd 1,400 in reimbursement. Sounds like a lot of people have to. Yes. Do you know what the penalties are for not Dokami next year? Maybe I should put that money into the vacation fund. Dude, Deltec World in Vegas sells out so fast for the hotel and, like, all surrounding ones. It's not a party! What is with that? Not unless work says you should go again next year. They won't. Because the message I'm bringing them this year is we are good to go. Unless some big things change. So I will not be going next year, more than likely. And I'm certainly not going voluntarily. It was volunteer this time, too, but I was voluntold, you know. Uh-oh, but next year, I could host you next year. Let's leave that conversation for next year, but, you know, sounds interesting. Voluntold life. But yeah, what's with that, Nero? Oh yeah, I got well, I didn't get shit-faced any night, actually. I had 2 shots of liquor. No liquid bread for me. I tried mezcal for the first time while I was at the Brazilian place. That shit is fragrant. That shit is fragrant. That is some sippin' liquor. I enjoyed it. But yeah, the security was interesting. I think they did about as well as they could with the venue. Obviously, the venue itself has problems. All convention venues do. There were so many funnels, chat. There were so many funnels. I think most of the security there was deterrent and response rather than structural. If you know what I mean. And if you don't know what I mean, it's like the obviously uniformed officers posted at the... Actually, they were posted at the funnels. Yeah, imagine security at a GlowyCon. You know what? It was also... It also reinforced that thing that only government employees really understand how ineffectual the government is. Like, keep in mind, CJIS is a collection of policy about securing something, and adhering to it is required. So why do we need a convention about it? Obviously we're all good, right? We're all compliant, right? Because we have to be. But we're at a CJIS conference learning how to be compliant for organizations that are mandated to be compliant, and being told how to survive audits. Really makes you think. I think one of the speakers from the FBI actually, like, joked about that. You know, because, you know, when the guy said, how many people here have read the entire CJIS policy, CJIS sec poll? Since I taught TSA, I bet I could have violated... Oh, you absolutely could have. It wouldn't have been hard, man. Just walk into a place you're not supposed to be. I don't think you would have been stopped. Not quickly. Like I said, most of the security was what I would call deterrent. Just obviously armed, uniformed officers posted every couple of... maybe every 20 feet, and at all the places where people could be expected to cause trouble, like where they would start causing trouble. But I think there was a little too much counting on the fact that half the people there were armed, despite hotel policy to the contrary. Yeah. I don't think you would have got very many people, but you wouldn't have been prevented from trying, is I guess what I'm trying to say. But anyway, yeah, so this dude from the FBI, I think his name was Chris Weatherly. Whoever the deputy ISO for the CJIS, or for the FBI is. There's probably more than one. But I believe his name is Chris Weatherly. Was he the guy who asked or the guy who raised his hand? I think he was the guy who raised his hand. Anyway, it was asked of like a room of maybe 800 people. Hey, who here has read the policy? Almost nobody's hands shot up. Mine didn't. That's oh, hey, Snacks, what's up? You know why my hand didn't shoot up? Is because that policy is very nearly 500 pages long and contains over 1,500 technical controls. That's just the technical controls. That's not environmental or personnel controls. There's like 1,500 just technical controls. So yeah, the number of people who had read the policy all the way through, very low. Reminder, this is a convention about the policy. This was a convention about the policy. So, there you go. How many of those that raised their hands were telling the truth? That's a good question. I'm pretty sure the guy that raised his hand was telling the truth because he was the deputy ISO. He was asked, oh yeah, it was the guy who works with the AI division was asking that question. And the deputy ISO was in the audience, and he raised his hand. And then the guy goes, how many times is AI mentioned in the policy? 0. Though I don't think that's really a bad part of the CJIS policy, because the CJIS policy is... it's technologically neutral. It's about the storage, transmission, and processing of CJIS data. So everything an AI can do is covered in one of those things. The follow-up question would be, now, how much do you remember reading? Yeah. Like, straight up, when I tell people... it took me a year to study for the CISSP. Let's get one thing straight. I passed it first try at question 125, which is the closest thing they'll tell you to a perfect score. Are there cliff notes on the policy? Yes. There are. They encourage that, actually. In the annual training requirements, they skim what they call the priority ones. All of the technical controls are in a group of 4 priorities. There's priority 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the priority ones are the ones that will, violations of priority ones are the things that will get your access to CJIS data yoinked the quickest. An example of CJIS data is like an arrest record. Or pictures of your vehicle that are tied to your name in a traffic stop. That sort of stuff. Basically, that private information that the cops have access to. And there's a subset of that called restricted CJIS data, which is called CHRI. It was criminal history records information. Even if it's CJIS, they're allowed to disclose it for legitimate purposes. Like, there's an example in the CJIS policy, which I have since started reading, where, like, you can just go to a police department and be like, hey, Does my neighbor have a warrant? He's been acting strange, and they can look him up, and they can tell you if he has a warrant. But, that's CJI, and if I don't protect it correctly, well, that's going to be a big black mark on my career, essentially. But no, the conference was about as fun as a working conference can be. I'm still floored at how Nero's convention thing sells out and to what degree it sells out. That's got to be a bunch of vendors, man. That has got to be like vendors and press. Tell me that's vendors and press and not the employees. Like, is that a mandatory fun shindig? What is that? All right, enjoy your raid, Sylph. They're funneling you gear this time, right? Or do you already have your gear? Are you funneling gear to somebody else? What's the gear sitch? Who's getting gear today? I'll press your vendor. I get funneled. My shoulders are strong, always. After raid, you're going to have to explain to me why it's shoulders specifically. Maybe there's another WoW head in here that can tell me why a healer's shoulders are so important. But I'll let you get to it. Wouldn't want to waste people's time in an organized raid because I carry. I know. I get it. I got it. I got it. I was hyping you up, damn it. Shoulders are the coolest looking. You know, I don't remember a lot about WoW, but I do remember that. I do remember that everybody's shoulder pieces are just gigantic and frame the entire outfit. That much I remember. Like, your tabard is, like, fucking nothing compared to your shoulders, and the tabard is, like, the biggest part of your outfit. Because we in T5 and presets are so goated the entire X-Pack. Nice. Healers always carry, blame the tank and DPS for wipes. I feel like there's a bit of a solidarity here. Can't put my finger on it. Can't put my finger on it. Sylph is in love with herself. Typical. Anyway, go raid. Surely no one will be late and your time will be respected if you get there on time. Right? 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 Every fucking static, dude. Every fucking static. No, the raid is now. We're just waiting to see who's late or who canceled without notice and who has to fill in from the bench. Every fucking static. Everyone. But no, some issues came up. I had to skip some of the classes I was taking that were more elective, like the child trafficking class and the Operation Pizza Party. Raid starts at 8, which means it's starting now. Yeah, it'll take them at least 20 minutes to figure out who's missing. Imagine organizing a raid in OnlyFans. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. But, yeah, Operation Pizza Party was a thing while we were being told Pizzagate wasn't real. And I really wanted to go to the seminar about that. Yeah, I remember OnlyFans, only because of that dumb drama that the hardcore runners keep causing and kept causing. Are digital pizzas involved? You know, I don't think they fed us pizza one time at the convention. Now that I think about it, none of the complimentary food was pizza. Not once. Not once. That's really odd. That's a strange omission. Kind of makes you think. The brownies were fucking on point, though. Whoever made those brownies, I knew what the fuck they were doing. You weren't invited to the special rooms. Nero's like, I have strange emissions. What? The APEC money ran out for the pizza. We got Rice Krispie treats. The swing in the quality of food day to day was wild. Like you get the complimentary breakfast, right? And it's definitely not the powdered variety of eggs. So it's like it actually tastes good. You said strange emission. I see. Like, and the breakfast is actually good. They don't feed you lunch, but they feed you snacks. Not to be confused with present company. And then you get your own lunch as well. And the snacks were, well, let's just say the first day snacks were not Rice Krispie treats. The guac was great. They gave us, like, some tortilla chips and guac. And, the guac was awesome. Which, you know, there wasn't any soap in the guac. So that's big W. Trook me, the guac 9000. Of course, when I say soap, I'm talking about cilantro, because I have that gene that makes cilantro soap. Cilantro belongs in guacamole. I know it does, but someone over there knew that enough people taste it as soap that they just omitted it. And I was very happy about it. My God. This guac was made for me! It's mine! Get your own! This is why I can't do, talking, See, the game is gonna slow me down, and the phlegm will stop. I'll have avocados with nothing? Honestly, yeah. They're not bad. As long as they're not those big green ones. Like, as long as they're the correct avocado. Those big green ones, they need some flavoring. But the smaller wrinkly ball looking ones, those are good by themselves. Those are good by themselves. I don't think I would eat the big green ones by themselves. Too firm. You miss picking fresh avocados in Hawaii? Yeah. Yeah, I bet you miss the island already. Or still. Or both. Or both. What else did we talk about that the public would be interested in? Like, this is all in public. None of it was classified. Insofar as civilian things can even be classified. That's a whole nother kettle of fish that I won't get into today. But a lot of people in civilian sectors will act like things are more secret than they are, especially since the civilian law enforcement sector. I don't know what the actual stats are, but it feels like 80% of them are ex-mil, and a good portion of those never debriefed correctly, classified as boring. Yeah. Yeah, it is. And when I say classified, I don't mean like... I mean literally classified, like... is this sensitive? Do you have a need to know? Not the way the military says that. But or at least how we're told they say that. You know the difference. But far as I know, nothing said there was sensitive, because if it were, they wouldn't have said it. Like, they omitted, like, who messed up on which audit, and, you know, I didn't come away from that conference knowing that, oh, this guy in Okaloosa County, man, that PD department, they fucked up, they leaked whatever. Yeah, OPSEC. I mean, I'm pretty sure that word was said. Like I said, the populations are so intermingled that you get this vernacular soup of, like, military terms in a civilian space. Which is funny to me. And I'm sure Saru's met people like this. But have you ever met, like, the military person who spent the last 20 years trying to force other people to use, like, their military terms? Like, oh, you can't call that a bathroom, that's a head. Those kind of people. And then 20 years later, they're getting all offended that people are using military terms without having been in the military. Do you know people like that? I know people like that. They're fucking annoying. There. / soapbox. Yep. Like, bro, you just spent the last 20 years trying to make people use your terms, and now you're upset that they are. There was a lot of that. There was a lot of that. Like I said, of course there is. Like, it feels like almost everybody involved is ex-mil at some point. So, yeah. But yeah, what else did we talk about? What other takeaways did I have? Because there were some good things about, like, even though it was a working conference, there's some good things about running conferences out of Orlando. So, this is a self-report for self that I didn't get to because we spurged too early. But my hotel had a really decent gym in it. And when I saw that walking in, I'm like, yes, I won't have to skip gym every night because of this convention. And what happens? I get to my hotel, I go to the convention, I'm immediately whisked off and kept out to the wee hours of the evening. The next day's business starts at 7 a.m. And I have to, nice streak. Nice streak, Nero. 20. Not as big as some other streakers in chat, but, you know, notable. That's a notable length. I appreciate your length, Nero. So happy I retired to Hawaii and picked up local how is that pronounced? Pidgin or pigeon? I'm still so pissed. What about dropping your streak? Saru and Plaws have 45s. Yes. Yeah. Pigeon. Okay. Okay. So, I didn't need to take my daughter to that. Damn it, Nero. Yes, you did. Word make me drop my streak ages ago. I read that as steak. But, yeah, I'm getting back to the hotel at like 11:30. Basically every night, and business starts at 7. But you know what? Between being sandwiched between, like, SeaWorld and Orlando and Universal Studios, and basically, like, all of Universal Studios, like, there were fireworks everywhere. Every night. And, they were the good ones, too. So you could just see them from your hotel room. In fact, it was causing some people to not be able to sleep My boss was joking, like, yeah, none of the veterans are going to be getting any sleep this week. He's a retired senior chief, flight deck officer. He was on the Ranger. I'll have you sandwiched between seamen. Nice. Nice. We love that. We love that. But, yeah, it was nice. Traffic was great. That's probably not something that's said about Orlando a lot, but traffic in the area was fantastic. I didn't have any trouble. I'm not very familiar with Orlando, so it was like, fly by GPS the whole way. Granted, I think a lot of people do that for their local areas now, and they just never bother actually learning their local area anymore, which is strange to me. But traffic feels so much worse when you're not familiar with the area, but it was fine. It didn't seem bad when I visited there. Yeah, it was pleasant, actually. I would call it pleasant. Compared to my area, the roads are overbuilt, which means they're probably just big enough. And it is crazy how many traffic issues we have here, being the size that we are, or should I say are not. There was some interesting talk about vendors claiming to be CJIS certified, and getting taken to task on that because there's no such thing as CJIS certification. There's CJIS compliance, but certification's not a thing. So that was a fun little conversation. That was a fun conversation. I did manage to spook out one of the speakers. It was the maybe spook out's too strong of a word, but I'm going to say that for the sake of this story. It was the guy doing the presentation on CJIS and ethical use of AI in CJIS, and how there's basically no policy around that now. He was talking about he's in uniform while talking about this, by the way. Talking about the 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendment implications of using things like LPRs, which are the license plate readers, flock cameras. They were very hesitant to talk about any specific vendor there, and the reason for that was because as auditors, they're legally not allowed to dissuade you or encourage you to go with a specific vendor. They're not allowed to show vendor preference. So there was a lot of word salad and a lot of dancing around the obvious. But but yeah. So yes, at least in Florida, remember this is not just FBI, this is FDLE. So at least in Florida, the people in charge are aware of and are working on and are trying to be compliant with the constitutional implications of things like LPRs and other AI assisted law enforcement tools. We're not all. I think it was like Michigan's been pretty bad about that lately. We're not all Michigan. And I think you can rely on that being I don't think that was a dog and pony show. They're not doing a dog and pony show for the type of audience that was there, first of all. Second of all, the AI is targeting people in ways that they're impersonating law enforcement and trying to get people to do stuff that is obviously extra constitutional. So for the sake of not being impersonated, they're actually really concerned about people understanding, not only understanding their rights under this stuff, but making sure that they are behaving within the constitutional constraints of law enforcement, regardless of whether Flock is concerned with that. That's a different thing. This isn't about Flock's perspective. This is about the perspective of FDLE, the FBI, and just local Florida law enforcement in general. Things could be, and perhaps probably are, very different in your area, is what I'm trying to say. But we've got an ad break coming up, and I have to go use the men's room. So we're going to pause for an ad, and then we will be right back, and then we're probably going to get into Palworld after that. So I will see you guys soon. Time to go to the break screen. BRB. We are back, chat. We are back. You know what, Spotify, you can go away. I'm about to not need you for the rest of the stream. So, one quick thing, back on the thing about, like, military culture spilling into civilian culture. Guess what stupid thing I got just for attending? Aside from this shirt. The shirt's actually really nice. Saru, are you ready to cringe a little bit? Can you guess? Can you guess what was in my swag bag? Yeah, that's right! That's right! They gave me a little challenge coin. Oh boy! Yeah! There was a coin swap too. I was like, guys. Well, I didn't say it, but I was thinking to myself, ugh, this is cringe. This is cringe. A literal no, this is metal. I mean, this is heavy enough it would be a slammer. But, yay! I'm glad you feel that way. Some of the young bucks are really into this stuff. And I'm just like, you used to get ribbons if you did something meaningful. And then it was, you used to get ribbons for fuck-ass shit. And now you get coins for everything, and it's... I heard about the coins long before I started seeing them in, like, civilian stuff. And then they started appearing in civilian stuff. Anyway, on the way back home, I stopped by the Bee, and I got some of this scorpion pepper jerky. It's hot. It's hot. Well, it's good. Maybe that will help me with my sinuses from talking too much. And I've got soda here to make sure that it gets even hotter and that I suffer. But, man, that stings. That stings a bit. Oh, that's good. That is good stuff. I'm looking at the sky out there because I'm wondering if I'm about to get, you know, kicked off. But yeah, we got little coins. Oh man. We got a baseball cap, a water bottle. And you know, the fucked up thing is, I'm sure somebody worked really hard to make this happen. I think that's the fruitiest part about it, is like a lot of effort went into that. A lot of effort went into that. I just don't get civilian challenge coins. Because now Saru, stop me if you think I'm way out of line here. But almost every... I don't think I've seen a challenge coin not made out of metal. And I think what these are supposed to do is, like, evoke the idea of having a medal, you know? But without being obviously a medal. I think that's what these are supposed to be. I don't like it. It feels like fake chest candy, you know? Like the kind you would see in Russia. No, they got gay when challenge coins left special ops. What is it, sweetie?
That is...
Oh.
Nice.
You want to see the size of my coin there, babe?
That.
I cringe when line units use coins. Well, now the civilians are doing it, so, like, cringe harder, man. Yeah.
Like Pokemon cards.
Yeah, it's like a Pokemon card, or like Plaza said, it's like a Pog.
Yeah. Got my Pogs.
But yeah, I think I think the idea of this, it's supposed to be not a medal, just cheapens the whole thing. I actually dumped nearly all my own coins into a thrift store. Yeah. Well, I didn't need any validation on that opinion, but it sure is welcome. I won't lie and say that it isn't. I'm glad you think the same way I do on that one. That's woo Letty. I imagine that was actually probably pretty cool when only Spec Ops was doing it. And the reason I say that is because a lot of the stuff Spec Ops do, you don't find out about it until 40 years later, if ever. Right? So you gotta be recognized internally somehow, right? At least that's how I think about it. Because nobody public is giving you an attaboy. Maybe I've got that completely wrong. Because, I wouldn't know. But, that seems to be why that exists from an outsider's perspective. Now they're going to have to make Spec Op fidget spinners. Don't say that out loud, because that's probably already a thing, and if it's not, some Spec Ops just heard you, and that is a thing now. Remember, Spec Ops, Line Ops, it doesn't matter. They're Zoomers now. That is not an old man's game. Spec Op dildos. Like, imagine the Zoomerest person you can think of. There is somebody who behaves just like that, or worse, in Spec Ops. And he has a body count. Dude's literally going 6'7" over some bodies. But not that kind of body count. Right. How many bullets do I have left in the magazine? Is it 6 or 7? I'm sure that joke has been made. They're just kids, a lot of them. Or they were just recently kids. That doesn't go away. Not every time, anyway. Not every time. But no, CJIS violations are very serious things. We would like to avoid CJIS violations. My strategy is classifying as much shit as I can get away with as not CJIS, and eventually saying that we do not deal with CJI at all, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. At least, not from... Our data contracts require us to treat all this data as CJI anyway. I just don't want to be an auditable organization, and I don't believe that we are. And this conference kind of solidified that opinion. And we're getting more unified on that. I gotta be real careful what touches the eye after eating that. But, my goal is to make sure our data classification is accurate. And I think in the past it was over-classified to make sure it was being treated properly. Which I understand. I understand over-classifying data to make sure that it's treated with the care that it deserves. But now that we're in the security field, what I would call a compliance culture and a liability culture, what that actually looks like is exposing yourself to the risks of the consequences of audits for no good reason. Because the auditor won't show up and then, like, make sure you classified all your data correctly. from the point of view that, oh, maybe you actually don't fit into this category, and we don't have to do this audit. No, they're going to do the audit based on your self-report that you are in this higher security category, and you're exposing yourself to the risks of not being compliant, and the administrative sanctions that come with that. That wasn't true 20 years ago. At least, not the way that it is now. It's completely different now. Like, these same concepts were in place 20 years ago, but, like, I don't really know how to express how different it is. That this is like, we're making sure that our data is classified very accurately, neither above or below where it actually belongs. Now, that's Zoomer warfare I'd watch. I mean, we already are, because Zoomer warfare is done at drone point now. So everybody gets their world star kill cam. It's fucking ridiculous, man. It's bleak. It is bleak. So yeah, security advice. In the past, overclassifying your data and treating data that maybe should have not been in a more secure classification as secure was a good steward kind of way to make sure that no high classification data leaked down. In the corporate world, at least, that is now a stupendously bad idea. Because that subjects you to scrutiny from enforcement agencies. Not just CJIS, but from anything your insurer wouldn't want you to have. Part of the formation of Spec Ops after the Iran hostage crisis was to prevent overclassification of info and better sharing of ops in 1979. It started going away as the old guard started retiring during Iraq and Afghanistan. That's interesting. That's very interesting. But yeah, it's obvious why somebody would feel motivated to overclassify their data, right? We want to protect as much as possible. We don't want anything accidentally leaking down. But when you overprotect it, you do cause problems. But what about goof drones that instead of flying at you and exploding, they blow a bunch of confetti instead, and the confetti is tiny 6 and 7s? I wish that weren't plausible. I wish I didn't feel like someone has done that during the R&D process of these FPV drones. But I can't dismiss that that's already happened. Hey, we call that information silos too. I wonder why. I wonder if somebody's terms didn't get appropriated when they got moved to civilian life. Weird. Weird. Speaking of all that. I think it's time to get into some gaming, guys. What about you? That's enough CJIS security talk for today. I think I wanted to talk about that more, but then I realized a lot of it was, like, really specific to my situation and not, like, generally applicable. But, yeah, we've been here for over an hour already, so waifu's way ahead of you. Yeah, we're not addicted to this game at all. All right, let me make sure all the volume that should be on is on. And that I'm good to transition scenes, and then I've got to change the stream category. And then, after I do that, let's see if I can't selectively say goodbye to the YouTube frogs, because I don't like saving my non-security content to the YouTube channel just so that auditing is a little easier for the CPU.